Money. The thing everyone wants and makes the world go round. There's just one problem with it. I don't have any. So how the heck am I gonna build dank, epic, cool builds? Easy. We start at the bottom. Dirt. First thing we're gonna need is clay and sand, or just straight dirt. Clay and sand works the best, that's why I got most of that. So I went out and got some clay. Now it's a bit too big for us to use, so we need to figure out a way to break it down. And there's only one way I can think of doing that. By shoving it in a blender. Alright, now that we've done that a little bit, we just gotta do the rest. Which is this bag. So after this, I went and mixed up the clay and the sand in the correct ratio in order to make this. I won't bore you with the details on the exact measurements, I'll just leave a link to the original video of where I learned this from. I then set the Dorodango on an elevated place in order to let them dry overnight so they'd be ready for polishing. Also, for later reference, I ended up trying to grind up some graphite. This will be important later. Okay, so now it's hard like a rock. So now what we do is we need to give it some water. We need to polish it with some more of the fine clay. Got our crash plate, which is where all the bad crap goes when it's polishing. So then we grab our jar. What you do, pull it in the water for about 20 seconds. After that, take it out. And we start polishing, really getting all the crap off of it so it's a nice sphere like the others. Alright, and after a little bit of shaping, it now looks almost perfectly circular. I don't know if it actually is, but we're gonna say it is for the sake of the video. So now after this, what you do is you take your jar, wet the top, you get the surface not nice, all nice and wet. Not as wet as it was before, just a good amount of water on the top. You give it a good polish, and you're just gonna get it to where it's like a muddy texture. And then from here, what you do is I usually just roll it in the nice dry clay. Is you take your ball, you rub it between your hands. That gets all the clay in the nice little cracks and crevices over the surface. And you're gonna do this about, I guess, a few times until you feel happy with the surface text, or with the surface. And then you take your ball, dampen her up, all of this. And the reason I actually do dip it in the clay is because it gets the finest of particles, which helps you with surface smoothness later, in my opinion. I then did this process about 7 more times. It takes a while. So now that we got it all nice and smooth, this can go one of 2 ways. One, we can continue polishing it so we get that nice dirt color, i.e. brown, or we can go on to coloring it. So I'm going to be taking this one and coloring it, but I'm going to be coloring it a certain color, because you've already seen I've tried blue, and I've actually made a successful one I'll show at the end. But I actually want to try to put this one with graphite. I got some graphite from a pencil, and I'm going to try coloring this, because I see people making it with graphite where it is like a black mirror. And I want to try that. Alright, so I've ground out a little bit. You can see the powder, and I've also got a little bit more graphite left. But I'm going to give this a quick coat. We did the process from earlier about 3 more times instead of 7, because you don't really need a lot for coloring. Alright, now that we've got the color down, it's time to start polishing. Now we're going to need some oil in order to do this. I use olive oil because it was the first thing I found, and that's what we're going to use. Now, when you're going to do the oil part, you actually don't need a lot. You can literally just turn the bottle over, pull off the cap, and that's all you need. You just take it, put it on your finger, and you run it on the outside of the rim of the bottle. That's all you need. You don't need any more, because the oil's not going to be a thing that's actually fully polishing it. It's just the time. It just makes the thing run smoother. It's like a lubricant, you know? So now we just sit here and do this for a while. So after this, I ended up going back and just polishing it again until eventually I got what I wanted, which was the black mirrored ball. So real quick, I ended up knocking this water bowl all over the floor. It got on my chair, and it got on my 3D print, on this current 3D print that I'm printing. Luckily, it looks like I missed most of the parts, that or it's already printed over them. Either way, it looks like it's fine. So, slight problem. I may have messed up because I ended up unpolishing the graphite one, and I tried polishing it with more clay, but the problem is I didn't have my clay fine enough, so yeah, that happened. It still looks good on this side, kinda, but yeah. And this is actually something that happened on another one I tried, but this time I actually know how to fix it. I just need to grind up the clay I had a little better, which shouldn't be too hard because I have a mortar and pestle, which is meant for grinding up to small things. So I'm gonna grind some more clay and come back. Okay, I've gotten it back to the shiny gray ball that I want. Unfortunately, I didn't notice something until after I rewatched the video that I'm basing this on, is that the person who did this actually wiped clay on the ball in order to keep the shine. So I needed to do that. Alright, well, it's not done completely yet. Look at that shine, my guy. It's almost like a frickin' mirror. That is crazy for graphite. Alright, and after many hours and some tears and some new face paint, apparently, we have it down to this shine. Now, there's a lot of imperfections if you really look closely, but I mean, if you look at it from a distance, this thing is a frickin' mirror. That's pretty cool. And I think all I needed was graphite. Alright, with the success of the other two smaller ones, and realizing what I did wrong, I can finally fix this one, and I can finally finish this one. But let's cut to that. So for the one I actually fixed, I went from having it be a big blue ball to a big black ball as well, which I kinda liked. Unfortunately, I messed up when making the other big ball, so we're gonna have to skip that. And this is what my sink looks like afterwards. Gross. And after all that, we're left with some beautiful dirt-colored balls. And I hope you guys do this yourself. It is a really fun weekend project. It doesn't take too long, and I'm probably going to revisit this in the future. Well, that's the end. Thank you guys so much for watching. Unfortunately, like I said, I wasn't able to finish the other big one, but maybe in the future I'll post an update saying I did. But if you want to learn how to do this yourself, I'll leave links to the original videos that I followed in the description. But until then, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Also, be safe!